Netflix's Hitman offers a humorous insight into the life of an unlikely undercover agent and is somewhat based on a true story. With Glenn Powell leading Hitman's cast of characters as Gary Johnson, the movie focuses on a college professor who unintentionally begins moonlighting as a fake hitman, arresting those who attempt to hire his services to kill. However, when one mission involves a young woman attempting to escape an abusive husband, he finds himself falling in love with her, which complicates matters in the Richard Linklater-directed movie. Since its release, Hitman's positive reviews have praised the film's screenplay, directing, and cast, specifically Powell and his co-star Adria Arjona. That said, much of this praise would not be present without Hitman's story, which involves Gary Johnson becoming embroiled in a series of increasingly over-the-top scenarios. By the time of Hitman's climactic ending, the story is made even better with the reveal that it is based on the life of a real person. The film's titular character was a real-world undercover hitman, begging the question of what is real and what is not in the Netflix interpretation. Glenn Powell's Hitman character is based on the real Gary Johnson. Hitman is based on a Texas Monthly article written by Skip Hollandsworth. The main story of Hitman originated in an article written by Skip Hollandsworth for the Texas Monthly in 2001. In the article, Hollandsworth detailed how Johnson was able to keep a low profile with his neighbors, while, all the while, working with the police as a fake hitman. Director Richard Linklater, a friend of Hollandsworth, read the article when it was first published, before contacting Hollandsworth during the COVID-19 pandemic to discuss adapting it into a movie. Powell then joined the project to portray Johnson while producing and co-writing the script. Since the film's release, Hitman director Richard Linklater has spoken about the film's links to reality. In an exclusive interview with Screen Rant, Linklater mentioned how the film dramatizes certain elements, though they are very much based on Johnson's real life. For example, the many aliases Gary Johnson creates in the Hitman movie are exaggerated. Linklater stated that the real Johnson used to do this to an extent, but not to the amplified element Powell portrays in the movie. How many people did Gary Johnson help arrest? The success of Gary Johnson's undercover work is an underrepresented aspect of Hitman. Glenn Powell as Gary Johnson from Netflix's Hitman, 2023, on top of a blurred image honoring the real Gary Johnson. In real life, Johnson was born in Louisiana. He eventually began working as an undercover agent in 1989, when the police ordered him to disguise himself as a hitman for a woman who was searching to find somebody to kill her husband. The woman was subsequently sentenced to a lengthy time in prison, and Johnson continued his work as a fake hitman for hire, via Texas Monthly. Throughout Hitman, several different cases are shown in which Johnson goes undercover. From the first scene in which Gary tries his hand at undercover work to the various implementations of his aliases and different identities, Hitman makes it clear that Johnson arrested several people. Staggeringly, the film did not portray this as well as it could have. At the end of Hitman, credit notes reveal that Gary Johnson aided in the arrest of over 70 people, proving him to truly be the Laurence Olivier of the field that he was described as by Skip Hollandsworth. Gary Johnson did not actually kill anyone, unlike Hitman. Hitman's devolution into drama-filled scenes are not real parts of Johnson's life. Gary Johnson looking surprised off-camera in disguise with a scar on his cheek in Hitman image via Netflix. When watching Hitman, it may come as a shock to some when Gary becomes complicit in the murders of two people. From knowing Madison killed her abusive husband Ray to actively murdering his co-worker Jasper, the life of Gary Johnson takes a humorous albeit deceptively dark turn in the final act of Hitman. With the prior knowledge that the film is based on a real story, a burning question is whether the real Gary Johnson killed anyone. Despite these worries, Hitman's end credit sequences reveal that these murders were fabricated for the film. Linklater and Powell wisely alert the audience that no murders were committed by Johnson in the real-life story of Hitman. These moments were simply created to make the film function better as a drama comedy, with Linklater crediting Powell for many of these decisions. Linklater, in the aforementioned interview, states that he originally thought there was not enough story to make a movie, and that it was Powell who pushed them beyond the source material to begin playing in different genres.